Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Lawrenceville, Georgia. GGC and Campbellsville do battle in a doubleheader on a Saturday afternoon. We're joined now by GGC head baseball coach Jeremy Sheetinger. We're going to jump into the highlights here, Coach. But before we even played baseball this weekend series, talk to us about administratively how this game comes about, because it wasn't on the schedule until about 5 days ago.
Yeah, we had a wide open, literally gaping hole in our schedule, and been working hard this entire year to try to find a way to fill it, and that's part of being independent. You've got to kind of open your schedule up and say, hey, who's looking for games? And given everything that's going on around the country, the opportunities have presented themselves. And Campbellsville had a bye weekend there in the Mid-South, and Buford is one of my mentors and really close friends. And he reached out and he goes, hey, I know it's not the bye weekend you were looking for. And he goes, certainly not the one I was, but let's link up and play some good baseball. And so we had a chance to play a doubleheader and play a really good team that was ranked in the top 25 to kick off the year. A lot of talented kids, and it proved to be some good baseball today.
And it showed for sure. And both you and Buford both should get a ton of credit for wanting to play baseball this time of the year between two quality opponents. But talk about quality at bats, and Nick Barnes belts a huge home run. He's hit 28 of his career. It may be one of the biggest home runs of his career. Talk about that moment for him and filling those shoes that are so big.
Well, you could feel the momentum building, and you could kind of feel the moment arising, and it couldn't have worked out any better to have him up in the box. I told James after game one I might need ice on my shoulder because the fist pump I brought out was pretty legendary. But I was so into for him because Barnes has been working through a lot of things to gain consistency and be ready for those moments and to come through with a lot of confidence. That's what he's done his whole career, man. That's why he's top of the record books, and to come through in that moment was a big deal for him, a big deal for this team.
We've seen a ton of teams in that visiting dugout this year. Explain Campbellsville at 8-9.
I'd say that do not judge that record by the talent that they have. You know, they have really walked into kicking off the year with a ton of COVID issues. They've had barely at times a team to practice with. They've had a ton of injuries on the mound. Talk about completely changing the entire scope of their pitching staff. So they're trying to figure it out. Now, what I know to be true as a NAI historian is that Buford's teams generally start slow, and about midseason they pick it up, and he'll have them right by the conference tournament, and they're always a tough team late in the year for the Mid-South. So there's a great chance you'll see that group figure it out and make the postseason tournament because they're just too well coached.
Here we are at the end of March. If you had a magic wand, just wave over this team to get them ready for the opening round at this point of the season, what would it be?
Well, we just got done talking about it as a team. You know, we're trying to. We're very talented. We got a lot of talent. We're working, and we've done a great job of filling out what our lineup might be, what our rotation might be. We're starting to get solidified on some roles with the pitching staff. At the end of the day, it's really about wanting to put yourself on the line, knowing that you may not come through. Now, that's a life thing, not just a baseball thing. You've got to be willing as a competitive person to put yourself out there, get fully invested, literally pour yourself over it, knowing that you could walk away heartbroken. That's part of competing. And that's what this group's got to figure out. It's all talent in the world. It's trying, and we're working as coaches to figure out what that button to push is to get them to tip over and just fall into being competitive year-round. And when you get that, this group's going to be hard to stop.
Competition sky high in today's doubleheader between Georgia Gwinnett and Campbellsville, two teams with postseason aspirations link up at the end of March. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
That'll do it here from Lawrenceville, Georgia, as Georgia Gwinnett and Campbellsville split the doubleheader.